Hello everyone. Myself Anita Haldar welcomes you on behalf of Anand Niketan Maninagar. Today we are going to learn some more basic concepts of chemistry, stoichiometry and stoichiometric calculations. What is stoichiometry? The word stoichiometry is derived from two Greek words, stoichion, that is means element, stoichion meaning element, and metron meaning measure. Stoichiometry thus deals with the calculations of masses of the reactants and the products involved in a chemical reaction. Before understanding how to calculate the amounts of reactants and required or the products produced in a given chemical reactions, let us study the informations available from the balanced chemical equation of a given reactions. Okay, so let's take the combustion of glucose molecule. Here you can say when combustion of glucose molecule is taking place, it produces carbon dioxide and water molecules. But as you can see, the reaction is not at all balanced. Hence, we need to balance the given chemical equations. After balancing the given chemical equations, here you can see that glucose molecules have to react with 6 moles of oxygen to obtain 6 moles of carbon dioxide and 6 moles of water molecules. Now, 1 mole of glucose molecule weighs 180 grams, whereas 1 mole of oxygen weighs 32 grams, whereas 1 mole of carbon dioxide gives 44 grams per mole and 18 grams per mole. That is 1 mole of water is equals to 18 grams. Next comes what is limiting reagent. Limiting reagent is the reagent that limits the amount of product that can be formed and is completely consumed when the reaction is complete. An excess reactant is a reactant that is left over once the reaction has stopped due to the limiting reactant being exhausted. Let's look into the example. That is, here consider the equation of roasting lead 2 sulfide in oxygen to produce lead 2 oxide and sulfur dioxide. So here comes your chemical equation, that is 2 moles of lead sulfide plus 3 moles of oxygen gives 2 lead oxide plus 2 moles of sulfur dioxide. Now to determine the theoretical yield, if 200 grams of lead sulfide and 200 grams of oxygens are heated in an open container, so what is the mass of lead oxide? So we result into 186.6 grams, right, by the unitary method. Now, because a lesser amount of lead oxide is produced, for the 200 gram of lead sulfide, it is clear that lead sulfide is the limiting reagent. Hence, by this manner, you can come to know, first of all, you need to check, as in previous example, we have checked, right? For this many grams of lead sulfide, how many grams of lead oxide is produced. So, in that manner, you can calculate which is the limiting reagent. Next comes the percent yield, that is with the respect to actual yield upon theoretical yield. If 170 gram of lead 2 oxide is obtained, then the percent yield would be calculated as follows. Fine. So in short, we can say reactions are carried out with the amount of reactants that are different than the amount as required by a balanced chemical equation. In such situation, one reactant is in more amount than the amount required by the balanced chemical reaction. The reactant which is present in the least amount get consumed after some time, and after that further reaction does not take place, whatever be the amount of other reactant. Hence the reactant which gets consumed first limits the amount of the product formed. Hence it is called as limiting reagent. Now while performing stoichiometric calculations, this limiting reagent is also to be kept in mind. So, let's brief you again the stoichiometric reactions. That is, we have seen the combustion of glucose molecules. So, with that, we can say that one molecule of glucose produces 6 molecules of carbon dioxide and 6 molecules of water molecule. Right, so one molecule of glucose and 6 molecules of oxygen produce 6 molecules of carbon dioxide and 6 molecules of water. Next comes expressing the concentration of solutions, but actually what it is. So let's see. A majority of reactions in the laboratories are carried out in solutions. Therefore, it is very important to understand as how the amount of substance is expressed when it is present in the solution. The concentration of a solution or the amount of substance present in its given volume can be expressed in any of the following ways. That is, we have mass percentage, then mole fraction, molarity, and molality. Let's study these things in detail. Right. When we are talking about mass percentage can be calculated on the basis of weight by weight as well. So, which is your mass of the component in the solution upon total mass of the solution into 100. Now, based upon this, we have already solved few numericals which was there in while converting empirical formula into the molecular formula. Next comes volume percentage. That is, it is calculated in the basis of volume versus volume. Suppose if the given component is given in the volume, that is in the solution form. So at that moment we require this formula, that is volume percentage of a component, which is equal to volume of the component in the solution upon total volume of the solution into 100. Then weight by volume. Suppose the solute is given in the weight form and solute dissolved in certain amount of solvent, we obtain the solution. So it is calculated in terms of W by V. So at that moment what we are going to do is mass of the solute dissolved in 100 ml of the solution, that is the numerator will come the mass of the solute and total volume of the solution will be equals to 100 into percentage. So in this manner we calculate mass percentage weight by weight, volume percentage volume by volume, and mass by volume percentage, that is weight by volume. Next comes parts per million. How do we calculate parts per million? Because many a time parts per million means 10 raised to 6, 1 part per million. Okay, that is ppm. So number of parts of the component upon total number of parts of all component of the solution into 10 raised to 6 will give you parts per million. Right? Many a times where we use this unit when we want to calculate TDS, that is total dissolving salt present in the water. At that moment, we require this kind of unit, that is ppm, and again to check the purity of water. Next is very important, that is mole fraction. Now what is mole fraction? It is the ratio of number of moles of a particular component to the total number of moles of the solution. If a substance A dissolves in substance B and their number of moles are Na and Nb, remember we denote number of moles with respect to small n. Then the mole fractions of A and B are given as, that is mole fraction of A is equals to number of moles of A upon number of moles of solutions. Right, so this is how we have expressed generally, that is mole fraction of a component is number of moles of the component upon the total number, right? Either number you can write or moles of the component, and total number of moles of the component we can write. Fine. Then that is equals to Na upon Na plus Na plus Nb. Now similarly when comes molarity, so molarity is moles of solute upon the volume of solute in liter. Right. So molarity is the most widely used unit and it is denoted by capital M. It is defined as the number of moles of the solute in 1 liter of the solution. Suppose we have 1 molar solution of a substance, say NaOH, and we want to prepare a 0.2 molar solution from it. Then what we are going to do? That is 1 molar NaOH means 1 mole of NaOH present in 1 liter of the solution. And for 0.2 molar solution means 0.2 moles of NaOH is dissolved in 1 liter of solution. So for making 0.2 molar solution from 1 molar solution, we have to take that the volume of 1 molar NaOH solution which contains 0.2 mole of NaOH and dilute the solutions with water to 1 liter. So how much volume of concentrated 1 molar NaOH should be taken? Which contains 0.2 moles, that is 200 ml. You can obtain this with the crisscross method. Next comes molality. Now, molality is defined as the number of moles of solute present in 1 kg of solvent. It is denoted by small m. Hence, molality is equals to number of moles of solute upon mass of solvent in kg. Often in a chemistry laboratory, a solution of a desired concentration is prepared by diluting a solution of known higher concentration. The solution of higher concentration is also known as stock solution. And what the thing we need to note for molality, that is the molality of a solution does not change with temperature since mass remains unaffected with temperature. So molality is independent of temperature, whereas molarity is dependent on temperature. Stay safe, stay tuned. Thank you. Have a nice day.